Welcome to another video, guys, and today I'm going to be telling you exactly how a professional writer would be writing emails. Okay, and this can have massive impact on your career. It can have massive impact on the results you get, on the sales you make, on the client you treat, basically from the most menial of things that you would be doing at your job to the most important things. Email writing is something that almost every one of us comes across on a daily basis nowadays. There just is no escaping it. And I'm going to be telling you those techniques that can help you take your career to the next level. And I'm actually going to be showing you an example while giving you these 10 tips, okay? 10 tips with a live example. So this is what we're going to be doing in this video, and at the end of this video I'm sure that you will have at least 5-6 tips that you would have never heard of. Okay, so without further ado, let's begin. Point number one, and I know that this probably has been around for a long time, but you guys need to know this, and because this is something that I know that people make mistake. I get a lot of emails and this happens a lot of times. If you have your email address as bananaboy7@gmail.com, trust me, no matter how good your email is, no matter how much time you put into it, people are not going to take you seriously, and in general people are gonna put your messages in spam. This is going to happen, unfortunately. So please have a professional email address for communication. Again, email is for professional communication, right? So have a professional email address. Okay, you can have something like aditya.kumar@gmail.com. If that isn't working, you can have kumar.aditya@gmail.com. You can have aditya.kumar7@gmail.com. That's okay, but don't have banana boy or banana bread, something like that, in the email, because trust me, that does not look good. Okay, so that was your point number one. Point number two is to know the difference between the two CC and BCC fields. Okay, again, you need to understand this because there are so many professionals in the industry right now who don't really know the difference between CC, which is carbon copy, and BCC, which is blinded carbon copy. You need to know this. Okay, let's say that I'm writing an email to a professor. Professor's name is Professor X and their email ID is x@gmail.com. So they will go in the to field. Okay, because I want them to read this and I want them to reply directly to me. Okay, so this is when I'm writing the email. I'll send it to Professor X. Y, let's say, is someone who is my administrator who gave me this task that, look, you have to write this email to Professor X. So I'm CCing Y over here. That means Y will get to know about it, okay, and Professor X will also get to know about Y's presence. That, okay, Y is someone who has been CC'd. Maybe these two guys know each other, maybe they don't. But at the end of the day, they will basically know that, okay, CC person Y, I'm not expecting them to reply to this email, but I want them to know of this conversation. Okay, and finally there's z@gmail.com in the BCC field. Z is just someone who is my friend, who is my family member, who is my friend, who wants to know how to do these things, and I'm trying to teach this to them, right? Again, I'm not expecting a reply from the BCC person either, but I want them to know about the communication and how it's done. Or maybe, this is someone who you want to be in there, but again, you don't want person X or Y to find out. So neither the to person nor the CC person will get to know about the presence of Z over here. Okay, even though Z will know about everything that's going on. Okay, so that's blinded carbon copy, and you need to know all of this. Okay, it's very important. Sometimes you have to send an email and you have to attach your manager's email in the BCC field, but you don't really want the person to know, okay, that, okay, person X, I'm sending you this email, but I don't want you to know about my manager. Well, your manager can be in the BCC field. So I hope that this makes it clear. Now you should be an expert at 2CC and BCC. Point number 3 over here is that your subject line should be a summary of your email. It should not be clickbaity like we say on YouTube. It should not have clickbait titles or something where people would love to open that email, but once they open it up, it's disappointment because there's really no substance in there. Because if you're doing that, sooner or later people are going to start ignoring your emails, and that's something you want to avoid at all costs. Okay, so basically have a subject line which is crisp, it's concise, it tells exactly what this email is about, and you will see that your career will go on the highest of highs. Point number 4, the greeting. You need to know who you're communicating with, and this is something that is very culturally diverse. Basically, if you're emailing someone from one of the Western countries, US, Canada, you can write something like, dear Andy. Dear is something that is okay in that case, because again, even if you don't know the person very, very well, it's completely fine to do that in the West. But let's say if you're writing to someone in India or in Germany or some of these countries, right? In that case, you want to stick to the safer route, and the safer route would be saying something like hi or hello. Okay, these are completely okay, and they work for almost every situation there is, whether you know the person or not. Okay, so try to stick to hi or hello and avoid words like hey, because that comes off as really unprofessional. Now, I'm not saying that just because you call someone like hey Andy, Andy would get offended and he would report to your manager. That's not something that would generally happen, but it just seems a little bit unprofessional to Andy that you did that, and maybe he's just not used to that. Okay, so if you want to be a little bit more professional, try to stick to hi or hey, dear, sometimes depending on who you're connecting with and if they're okay with it, but in general you should avoid it. And especially if you're working in the Indian context and you're emailing people from India, in general, if you're writing dear Parvati, that's something that may not be appreciated. Dear James may be okay, but dear Parvati may not be okay with it. Okay, so remember all of these things. They are important and you need to have them in mind next time you're writing your emails. Next comes the part where you introduce yourself. The first time you're writing an email to someone, you need to let them know who you are and exactly what you're looking for in this email. So over here also you can see in this example, I'm introducing myself. I'm telling them, okay, this is who I am and this is why I'm writing this email to you. This is what I want, right? So it's very important, it's critically important that you concisely mention all of that in the first sentence itself when you're writing for the first time at least. Point number 6 is the body. Now you want to expand on your subject line, on your introduction, and you want to really go ahead into the details. You want to give them substance, you want to give them proof, you want to give them everything that you can to get their response from them, right? And at the same time, you want to keep it concise, you want to keep it formal. These are the two most important parts. Some people keep on writing the email, they would write maybe a 500-word email just when they have to ask for an internship. It's generally not preferred. People are so busy in their lives, they're so consumed that they probably are looking at your email for the next 30-40 seconds at max. So you want to keep it as short and crisp as possible so that those 15-30 seconds, whatever they can devote to your email, they count in your favor, right? So in this email, you can see how I have mentioned my previous projects. I'm cleanly mentioning my experience, and I'm telling the professor how he can really verify my authenticity and basically go on and consider me for an internship. Point number 7 is the call to action. Now, in the last line of the email, you want to mention exactly how this person can reach you or exactly how this person can do what you want them to do. Okay, so you want to give them a pathway that, okay, look, even if you are making a sale, right, you want them to make a purchase. In general, if you want them to contact you first, you can mention how they can reach you, or you can mention, okay, this is the link, this is where you can purchase it, right? So you give them a pathway that, okay, this is where I want you to go ahead and proceed. All right, and it's critically important. If you're just leaving your email without any links or any information on how to move forward, in general, you can expect that it won't materialize. So over here, I just mentioned a few ways to reach me, and in general, that's it, because I'm looking just for an internship position, right? Point number 8 is do not mess up the grammar. It just sends the message that you don't care enough about the person reading the email, or that you don't really think that it's important for you to review your emails before sending them, and it looks a little bit unprofessional, and we want to avoid that. Now, today, there's a ton of tools out there that you can use to improve your grammar, and which can basically double check your emails as well. So I would recommend using one of those if you feel that your English currently needs some help. And it's perfectly okay to do that. Point number 9 is do not send out generic emails. I've made this mistake so many times. I thought, okay, look, I know I can basically automate things. I know I can, build algorithms which would basically go ahead and send thousands of emails, which would look customized a little bit, which would have their names and everything, which would have their university names and everything for the professors, but it doesn't work. Trust me, you want to be as specific as possible. Instead of manipulating and trying to automate things and sending out maybe 1,000 emails by changing some variables, right, and making it look customized, it would be great if you can just send 10 emails and spend maybe 40-50 minutes of your time on those 10 emails, and you can be really sure that, okay, I have done my research and I know that this person has maximum chances of replying to this email. If they don't reply, follow up. It's completely okay to do that in the next 3 or 4 days if they haven't replied. But don't send generic emails like dear user, dear XYZ. It doesn't look good at all. And chances are people would just ignore your email if they see that. I mean, look at you. Wouldn't you do that if you get an email like that? Finally, make your email readable, okay? Now, this is the part where we want to get a little bit more than 15-30 seconds. We want to get maybe a minute. And to do that, we want to make your email pretty, but again, in a professional way. Okay, so you can do something like highlighting, you can do something like bolding important parts, right? Or you can do something like hyperlinking. Hyperlinking is critically important. Some people just include the full link even after they would add the whole text. Okay, this is the text, right? This is my project name, and then they would put a colon and they would add a long link. That's not preferred in professional communication. You want to just hyperlink the part which can work as the link. Again, it's easier, it's simpler, it looks so much more professional, and the person reading your email can basically get to the website that you want with the click of a button. So important that you use these tools very, very well. And of course, with these, I am concluding the 10 tips that will help you become a professional writer. Okay, now again, these are some of the basic tips, but again, these really have the power to convert your email writing skills to someone who is a professional and who has been working in the industry. And trust me, when you really apply these techniques next time, you will see that you will have much more easier time getting responses. You will have people who are much more happier in terms of your relationship with them, and they would want to deal with you in most contexts. So I'm happy to help you. Hopefully this does. And in case you like, you can go ahead, check out my Instagram page where I have so much more helpful content coming your way, and subscribe to this channel if you like this video. Thank you so much for watching this. I'll see you in the next one, hopefully. Goodbye and take care for now.